Delegate of Brazil. All right. I'll quickly move on. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Canada. Delegate of Canada. I think they're there in the committee. France and Canada both are there, right? Brazil. Delegate of Canada. Are you present in the committee? Delegate of China. All right. I'll quickly move on. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of China. All right. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Delegate of DPRK. Are you present in the committee?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm present and voting. Thank you.
Delegate of Denmark. Delegate of Denmark. Present and voting. Perfect. Delegate of Egypt. Delegate of Egypt. Delegate of Finland. Delegate of Finland. Delegate of France.
I'm present.
Delegate of Germany. Delegate of Germany. Present. All right. Delegate of India.
Present and voting.
Perfect, sir. Delegate of Iran.
Present and voting.
Delegate of Italy. Delegate of Italy.
Voting.
Perfect, ma'am. Delegate of Japan.
Present and voting.
Perfect. Delegate of Lebanon. Delegate of Lebanon. I believe Ukraine and oh, present. Great. Delegate of Norway.
Present.
Perfect, ma'am. Delegate of Pakistan.
Present.
All right. Delegate of Poland. I believe they were there in the committee yesterday. Delegate of Poland. Arpita, can you check if they've joined with their own name because they had previously, like yesterday, they joined with their own personal name instead of their portfolio's name. Please check for Poland. Delegate of Republic of Korea. Delegate of Republic of Korea. Please check for Korea as well. They were present in the committee yesterday. Delegate of Russia.
Present.
Perfect, madam. Delegate of Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting.
Delegate of Syrian Arab Republic.
Present.
Delegate of Thailand. Delegate of Thailand. Right. Delegate of Ukraine.
Present.
Delegate of United Arab Emirates. Delegate of UAE, United Arab Emirates, UAE. Please check for UAE as well, Arpita. They were there in the committee
Ma'am,
yesterday.
UAE has just joined the committee.
Present.
All right. UAE President voting.
Yes.
Perfect. Delegate of United Kingdom.
Present and voting.
Perfect, sir. Delegate of United States of America.
The delegate of United States of America is present and voting. Thank you.
Perfect. Delegate of Vietnam. Delegate of Vietnam. Isumi, are you there in the committee? Because they had joined with their personal name previously. Delegate of Vietnam. Delegate of Yemen.
Present and voting, ma'am.
Perfect. Arpita, okay, I'm going to take the names of the delegations that have not answered. If they do not answer this time, I will mark them as absent for day 2. which means that their presence in the committee will not be noted, and yeah, that's not a good thing. All right. Delegate of Afghanistan, are you present in the committee? Afghanistan. Delegate of Bangladesh. Bangladesh. Right. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Bulgaria. Delegate of Brazil. Brazil, are you there in the committee? Right. Delegate of Canada.
Present.
President voting. Okay, great. Delegate of Canada, President voting. Delegate of China. Delegate of China. Absent. Delegate of Egypt. Delegate of Egypt. All right. Delegate of Finland. Delegate of Poland. Okay, I'm marking them as absent because no one's answering. Delegate of Republic of Korea. They were present in the committee yesterday. They even gave a speech. Republic of Korea. Right, absent. Delegate of Thailand and delegate of Vietnam. They were present in the committee yesterday. Please check Arpita if they're there or not. Um,
No,
Vietnam is not.
ma'am, they are not present.
All right. So just go over our Google sheet that we've made, and wherever you see an AB that says that they're absent in the committee, please check again and again, maybe midway at like about 3:40 if they've joined or not, and ask for their attendance personally if that's possible. All right.
Noted, ma'am.
That being said and stated, Ansh will be taking committee forward after a certain point, but now we'll be continuing with our general speakers list. We had some amazing debate yesterday with the general speakers list with two questions after every speech, regardless of how much time one was taking up. I see Moldova's hand raised up and another delegate's hand raised up.
Delegate of Moldova are present too.
Delegate of Moldova, your name apparently is not in the delegation list with me, the one there in the Google Sheet, like the list of countries. Could you let me know your personal name so that I could tally?
Uh, Petru.
Oh, all right. So you've been allotted, according to this list, you've been allotted
Poland.
Poland. Yeah. Can I make the changes, Anita ma'am, if that's all right? Natasha ma'am, anybody who's there, if they could confirm.
Yes, dear Devanshi.
All right. So,
I see his name for Poland, right?
yeah,
But
but he's been
he,
allotted Moldova.
yesterday, yesterday he was there,
Yes, they were there in the committee and
right?
they wished to speak. However, there was some confusion regarding their portfolio,
Yeah.
and we were assuming they're Poland because nobody answered for Poland, and we saw their display name as Petro, so we marked them as present. But they're,
So,
yeah,
okay.
Moldova.
So, right. So I think he can continue, but still I'll once confirm. But if he's prepared with this, so it's okay. There shouldn't be any
Okay,
problem. Right?
perfect.
I'll
So,
just get back with it.
all right.
Um,
So, Petro, we're going to mark you as present in voting for now, and you can give your speech uh, soon, hopefully, because I believe you wanted to be added to the general speakers list as well. Apart from that, a
Yes.
very Yes, apart from that, I would just request everybody to turn on their cameras while they're speaking today, and I really look forward to a very fruitful discussion. So, the two speakers that are there next on the list are the delegation of Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. Please note that ask them a lot of questions because their portfolios are very relevant to the agenda at hand today. I believe that's very crucial. And after that, we'll be recognizing more speakers. To give a rough sort of idea, we'll probably be recognizing Okay, Ansh, is it fine if we recognize speakers pehle hi and then we move on to the debate forward later?
Yes, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Perfect. So we have Saudi Arabia followed by UAE. Anybody else who hadn't given their general speakers their GSL yesterday and wish to be added to the GSL list right now, please raise your hands. All right. UK, did you not give your GSL speech yesterday?
No, I was only talking about moderated caucuses.
All right. So you've only done moderated caucuses. Fine. We'll accommodate you in the general speakers list. We'll have just a second. Spella, you're representing the portfolio Austria, right? So UK
yes.
followed by Austria. Perfect. Thank you for your participation. We'll move
All
on
right.
forward.
UK,
We
did
have
you not give your
Germany.
GSL
Perfect.
speech
Germany.
yesterday?
Thank you so much. Then we have Italy.
No,
Italy, did you not give your general your GSL yesterday?
No, I only gave my moderated caucus.
Perfect. Perfect. So we'll accommodate you right
Okay,
now.
you were talking about
We'll
the
have Russia.
background. I thought you were talking about the.
Excuse me, Devanshi.
Yes, ma'am.
Bache, the child Petru, he belongs to which country otherwise?
Petru, which
Petru, if
country
I
are
can
you
ask
from?
you.
Yeah.
We
I am
have
from
taken about
Moldova and
6
I
to
am
7 speakers
representing
yesterday.
the
I'm
From the
recognizing
country,
more
kindly
speakers
know
for the
your saying
moderated
out
caucus.
exactly your mode difficult.
Delegative Israel.
Okay, okay, you're from Moldova only, right. Okay, all right. Thank you, Bache. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Apart from that, we'll also accommodate Moldova on the list because they hadn't spoken. We'll be changing the order a little bit, Ansh, seeing that these people have also given their moderated caucus speeches in order to accommodate. All right. Saudi Arabia, you've already been recognized and you're there on the GSL list. Syrian Arab Republic, I believe you've already given your GSL. So we'll be looking forward to accommodate people who haven't given their GSL. When we move on to moderated caucuses, you'll get ample amount of time to give your amazing speech, and we look forward to it. Japan, yes, Japan hasn't given their GSL speech. Then we have India. You've already given your your GSL, I believe. Delegate of India, if you could confirm. Your hand is raised up.
Ma'am, I'd like to re-add my name.
All right, delegate, when we move on to that process, wherein we are looking to accommodate more speakers for the general speakers list, we'll definitely consider your name. But for now, please lower down your hand. All right, everybody lower down your hands. The list goes as follows. Ansh, please take note of the same. Saudi Arabia, followed by United Arab Emirates, followed by Germany, followed by Russia, followed by Moldova, followed by Japan, followed by UK, and then Austria. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, 9 speakers. Let's move Austria before Germany. Is that fine? So Saudi
Chair,
Arabia. Yeah.
I'm so
Go
sorry
on.
for interrupting. Just as far as the Telegram group is concerned, delegate of Romania wants to be marked present.
All right, delegate of Romania wishes to be marked present. Are they there in the committee? If they could unmute themselves, and then we can probably accommodate them as well in the GSL.
Point of
I'm
personal.
sorry, I didn't hear Italy being said on the list.
Uh, Oh, that's my bad. I'll repeat the list once again. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Austria, Germany, Russia, Moldova, Italy, Japan, and then UK. Is that fine? So Saudi Arabia, United
thank
Arab Emirates, Austria, Germany, Russia, Moldova, Italy, Japan, and then the United Kingdom. Is that fine?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Ansh, have you taken note of the list, please?
Till Russia, yes.
I'll send you the list once. It's okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. And I've marked Romania present and voting. Great. Delegate of Romania, are we audible to you?
Yes.
Perfect. Delegate of Romania, do you wish to be added to the general speakers list for a speech of 90 seconds?
Yes.
Perfect. So we'll accommodate Romania after the United Kingdom. Great. So Ansh will send you the list once. Saudi Arabia, Arpita, can you screen share the timer for today since Ansh will be taking up the verbatim as well along with me, if that's possible.
Okay, ma'am, I'll just let you know.
I'll send the list once on the chat box as well. Yes, a delegate of Pakistan, you can share the leftover speech here on chat box and you'll be marked accordingly for it. I was saying that I will add the general speakers list here in the chat box as well so that people are prepared. And there's a note of it. SA stands for Saudi Arabia. And then, all right, oh, okay, it's going to be, all right, I'll just add it on my Google Doc and send it to you. Great. Arpita, just let us know when the timer can be started.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Just a second, I'll confirm. Yes,
Yes,
the
there are.
screen is
Yes,
visible.
I can see.
Okay, ma'am.
Delegate of Saudi Arabia, are you ready with your speech?
Yes, Chair, I'm ready with my speech.
Yes, before the delegate of Saudi Arabia starts, just to give a little direction to the committee, points that have already been covered yesterday, try to make your debate a little more organic, your speech a little more natural, and try to include points that have not been discussed in the committee. Try to also rebut points. For example, if the delegate of DPRK yesterday mentioned something with regards to waste disposal or toxic waste disposal, and today to bring perspective on that, I would mention that the delegate of Saudi Arabia wishes to talk about so and would also like to reiterate what the delegate of DPRK stated in their speeches earlier, and then add on to that. That goes on to show that you're being very, very observant in the committee and you're giving a very nice individual analysis, something new to the table, and that gives you an edge as a diplomat. So I really look forward to debate of that sort. Saudi Arabia, you can start at the count of 3, 2, and 1.
The delegate of Saudi Arabia would like to thank the board for recognition. The UNEP is doing great favors to Saudi Arabia and has lots of projects going on in the background. For example, in 2019, UN Environment and the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia signed a strategic cooperation agreement to strengthen the environmental protection, safeguard natural resources in the kingdom. To the US $25 million agreed financed by the ministry, UN Environment has provided technical support to build institutional and human capacities to achieve the kingdom's national environment strategy and the national transformation program. More specifically, UN Environment will develop institutional and regulatory structures for the environment sector by developing institutional frameworks and organizational structures for the environmental sector. As the UNEP had mentioned in their in the international conference, the UNEP has 7 goals planned for the kingdom. Number 1, no poverty and quality of life. Number 2, affordable and clean energy. Number 3, sustainable cities and communities. Number 4, sustainable consumption and production. Number 5, climate action. And number 6, life below water. Finally, number 7, life on land. So in conclusion, the UNEP is working hard on fixing the ecosystems in the kingdom, but it's not enough. We need to take more drastic measures to make sure we can fix and resolve this issue. Thank you very much.
Perfect points, very well noted, Delegate of Saudi Arabia. Are there any questions for the delegate? We'll be accommodating one POI for now. Any questions for the delegate? We'll take the delegate of Yemen. Delegate of Yemen, you can ask your POI.
Thank you, Evie, for the recognition. So delegate of Saudi Arabia, I wanted to ask, like, according to the World Health Organization guidelines, the quality of air in Saudi Arabia is considered to be unsafe. So could you please tell what all steps have you taken to reduce these?
That is an issue that I was about to talk to you in a coming session, and we actually, as a country, need funding, further funding from the UNEP to help resolve this issue of our air pollution.
All right, very well answered. The co-chair has a question for you. Ansh, please go ahead. Would you be willing to
Right.
entertain a question
I
from
would
the
like.
executive board?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Would you be willing to entertain a question from the
I'm not
executive
an issue.
board?
The delegate of Saudi would like to entertain the question by the board.
All right, Ansh, you may please go ahead.
Yes, Delegate of Saudi Arabia, as far as the government is concerned, it is a part of the Paris Agreement for a time frame of almost 2 years now, right? If you know, there's a convention in Paris Agreement that in case the government of a particular country reaches excess of CO2 emissions, it has to impose a carbon tax on its factories. But as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned, it has not yet produced tax on excess of carbon emissions. Can you please maintain the stand of the government on that, please? Thank you very much. I can repeat the question if you want.
Thank you very much for the question. That is a very valid question. And could I please request to answer your query and a further question in our further moderated caucuses? I don't have the
That's
answer with me
completely,
right now. Can I
that's
do some
complete.
research and get back to you?
Right, delegate.
Yes, definitely. That's completely all right, Delegate of Saudi Arabia. That's completely fine. We'll quickly move on to the next GSL, which is by the Delegate of United Arab Emirates. Delegate of UAE, are you prepared with your speech?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So we'll start at the count of three, two, one.
Thank you for recognition. The delegate of the United Arab Emirates believes that sustainability is a crucial issue to reach in our world and explains why it's important since it contributes to the growth of the world. These are major points to achieve, and it's our key goals to attain these goals in our world. It's our job to take care of our planet. The United Arab Emirates has ideas that may benefit the country's environment, such as aiming to position the UAE as a world leader and a hub for the export and re-export of products and green technologies, as well as preserving a sustainable environment that promotes global economic growth. In addition, the UAE affirmed its plan to generate 24% of its electricity from clean energy sources by 2021. At COP21, United Nations Climate Change Conference in December 2015. Yeah, it's a critical issue that, to be sustainable in our country, and we are taking steps of making more of these green technologies. Like we're trying to make more wind solar panels and I would like to conclude this opening speech with a quote from His Highness Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan. Now we live on this blessed land and we are responsible for preserving our environment.
All right. Thank you so much for that speech. Are there any questions for the delegate of UAE? Uh, just give us a second. Delegate of um, Delegate of United Kingdom, you may ask your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. So my question is that how does the United Arab Emirates want to fight the exploitation of natural resources in it? Since these Arab Emirates are very ecological due to these these behaviors.
Sorry, I did not hear that question. It was a bit laggy on my side.
Repeat it. I got quite lost in my question as well.
Yeah.
So how does the UAE want to fight exploitation of natural resources?
Okay, yeah. So they're trying to make more of these natural resources. They're trying to be more sustainable in many ways by using solar panels that are powered by the sun, as you all know. They're trying to make more greenhouse, more like sustainable places around the UAE.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer. We'll quickly move on to the speech by the delegation from Austria. Delegate of Austria, are you ready with your speech?
Excuse me,
Yes, I am.
Go on.
Excuse me, delegate of Korea absent and voting, ma'am, for GLS.
All right. So, Delegate of Korea, do you wish to be marked present in the committee? Because I believe you weren't there during the roll call.
I'm here, ma'am.
Arpita, could you please check in with the Delegate of Korea once? All right, Delegate of Korea, we'll get back to you. For future references, when you have to ask like a doubt of sorts, instead of unmuting and speaking, this goes for all of the delegates, you can always say point of parliamentary inquiry or point of personal privilege. All right. I would suggest point of parliamentary inquiry with regards to any procedural doubts, what is happening in the committee. Always ask for a point of parliamentary inquiry. All right. That being said and stated, Delegate of Austria, are you ready with your speech for 90 seconds?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Perfect. You can start
Yes.
at the count of 3, 2, and 1.
Honored Mr. President, distinguished chairs, fellow delegates, and dear guests. We, the Republic of Austria, have experienced the effects of climate change, and we are deeply concerned about it. We have Federal Ministry, Republic of Austria, Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation, and Technology. That is very important because it searches for solutions that could stop climate change. Our country provides support to the global network of regional sustainable energy centers and various other centers in their member countries. Because we are fully aware of the fact that there are countries that cannot fight climate change alone, we joined various conventions that help developing countries. We are also a part of Iranian-Austrian cooperation, monitoring wealth and quality of life, and UN Environment Assembly in Nairobi, and we are very committed to the goal of countries jointly setting up 100 billion US dollars for developing countries. We are also working on environmental technology, which focuses on green and renewable energy and generating less greenhouse gases. Our 2030 target has a focus on delivering 100% renewable energy generation. We yield the floor back to the chair.
All right. Thank you so much for that speech, Delegate of Austria. We look forward to your speeches in the moderated caucuses that are going to come forward. Will you be willing to entertain questions now? Would you be taking questions,
Yes.
madam? Perfect. We'll accommodate
Yes.
2 POIs for the Delegate of Austria because they're still left with quite a bit of time. Delegates wishing to ask a POI will recognize Delegate of DPRK followed by the Delegate of United States of America. DPRK, you may ask your question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Understanding the fact that Austria is mainly suffering from acid rains, which is caused due to destruction and biodiversity loss in the country. What are the steps or the mechanisms that the government of Austria has taken already or is willing to take to tackle down this issue? Thank you.
The country.
Go on, Delegate of Austria.
Yes. The country has lowered their carbon emissions
All right.
and has
Is that a delegate of Austria?
I am having connection problems.
You can answer the question later as well using the chat box. We'll quickly hear the delegate of United States of America out as well. Delegate of USA, please ask your question.
All right, thank you. I wanted to ask that climate change in Australia is often considered deserts, ecosystems, and biodiversity, as you talked about. Since 1950, temperatures have risen by 1.8 degrees Celsius. In the past 150 years, glaciers have melted, losing a significant amount of their volume. What steps is the Austrian government already taking or will take, and what will be the outcome of taking those steps, and how will it justify the things that have already happened to the environment of Austria? Thank you. That's my question.
All right. Thank you for that question, Delegate to United States of America. I believe even yesterday there was a lot of disturbance on your end. So we would really request you to sort of maybe fix that if that's possible, because you've been giving some really amazing speeches, but for the sake of verbatim, we need to hear everything very, clearly. So that's there, but that's all right. Your question was very well noted. Delegate of Austria, do you wish to answer it right now or a little later?
Can I do it a little bit later?
All right, that's completely fine. You can answer the delegate to United States of America using the chat box. We'll take three more GSLs, four more GSLs, after which we will move on to the moderated caucus. So, delegate of Germany, are you ready with your speech?
Hello, am I audible? Chair.
Yes, yes, you're audible, Ansh.
Right. I'm so sorry for interrupting the flow of the committee. I would just like to ask the delegate of Austria to repeat a statement from her very own speech.
All
If
right.
the delegate of Australia can do the same.
Austria, right.
Yes.
Uh, Delegate of Austria, the co-chair is asking for a repetition on part of the verbatim. So they will be telling you a statement that you need to repeat for them. I request the co-chair. There's a lot of disturbance on their end also. Okay, so I would request the co-chair if they could do so by asking for their speech directly, if that's possible, so that we could save on the committee time. Right? Works?
Right. Works.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. Great. Delegate of Germany, are you ready with your speech? Delegate of Germany, you may start at the count of three, two, and one.
Thank you. The delegate of Germany feels that promoting the development and accelerated transfer of environmentally sound technologies is important for reducing carbon and developing climate resilient to developing countries. Therefore, the consideration of this agenda leads to raising awareness about climate change caused by carbon emissions. As we all know, climate change is preparing our planet, causing extreme weather events, and because the emissions of greenhouse gases is the main that causes global warming, it's important to understand how the emissions affect the environment. The delegate of Germany feels that SDG 13 is the main factor for saving the situation of our planet that has been seeking for help for years. Through the transition to renewable energy sources, some people believe Germany has become the climate change policy leader and renewable energy leader in the world with ambitious climate change programs through Germany's carbon emissions per capita are in fact among the highest in Europe. The current goal for German government was approved on 14 November 2016 in the German Climate Action Plan 2050. The delegate of Germany suggests some solutions that prevent pollution and climate change, invest in renewable energy, switch to sustainable transport, restore nature to absorb more carbon, reduce plastic, and improve farming. To conclude, the ignorance that society has towards the climate change is making it worse day by day. Small changes make big results, and besides that, we won't be able to have a carbon emission-free planet without committing our way of living. Thank you.
All right. That was a really nice speech, Delegate of Germany. We look forward to your participation in the committee moving forward. Would you be willing to entertain a question from the executive board?
No, thank you.
All right. And what about questions from the delegates? would you be willing to entertain questions from the delegates? Any country, can they ask you questions?
I don't think I will be ready to answer to them.
Oh,
I'm
that's all right.
not really informed by this.
All right, that's completely fine. But moving forward, know that you've researched well, right? And you were able to prepare a GSL for yourself. So even if somebody asks a question, you always have the right to say, oh, all right, we'll answer this a little later after we research about it a bit more. That's completely fine because we very well acknowledge that there are a lot of first timers in the committee. But also try your level best to answer questions. It makes the debate more interactive. All right. So moving forward, please take note of that. Moving forward, we have the delegate of Russia. Madam Russia, are you prepared with your speech for 90 seconds?
Yes.
Perfect. We'll start at 3, 2, 1.
Okay. The Russian delegate believes that in order to have a cleaner environment, involvement is needed to solve environment problems, but also technology. Before the discussion about this agenda is very important. Efficient use of energy and use of fuel is a big problem facing Russia that leads to environmental pollution and causes climate change. In order to solve this problem, we need a plan, which is the solution to the efficient of use of fuel. The delegate believes that this is one of goals that we must resolve. From the energy sector could reduce carbon emission by 25%, and the Energy Research Institute predicts that such measures could save up to $1 billion every year. 68% of Russia's energy is produced by pollution fossils and is a major producer of these fuels. Carbon dioxide maybe is the most important driver of global warming and climate change, but it's not the only one. Many other gases or particulate compounds known as climate damaging pollutants.
All right, perfect. That was a really nice speech, delegate of Russia. We'll now be taking questions for the delegate of Russia. I hope you're willing to entertain questions from the delegates, if that's okay. Madam Russia, are you fine with answering questions? Madam Russia, am I audible to you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
All right. So, would you be okay with answering some questions by the delegates? Two questions by the delegates?
Okay.
All right,
I
perfect.
can
Thank you so
answer.
much. All right, thank you so much. We'll now be looking forward to questions for the delegate of Russian Federation. We have just a second. We'll take India, followed by the delegation of Syrian Arab Republic. India, you may ask your question, followed by
Thank you
Syrian
for the
Arab Republic.
recognition, Evie. So, ma'am, a very simple question to you is that Russia is still really dependent on products such as oil, coal, gas, and fossil fuels. But nowadays, in electricity and other technologies are more important as they cause less pollution. Could you tell me when will Russia be more dependent on such resources?
Sorry, but I don't understand your question. Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. So
All
I
right,
want to ask,
delegate of India, just a second. Arpita, I think you're screen sharing. There's a lot of disturbance on somebody's end. So somebody is screen sharing and then there's an issue because there's some voice that's echoing. Delegate of India, repeat your question in a short and crisp manner,
yes,
and then the Russian Federation can answer. All right, go
yes,
ahead.
ma'am. I wanted to ask that Russia is still dependent on products such as oil, coal, gas, and fossil fuels. And nowadays, many countries are becoming more dependent on ESTs, that is, environmentally sound technologies. When is Russia planning to do so?
Was the question clear
Um,
now?
yeah,
Perfect.
I think that Russia is a rich country, and she have many um, resource.
Ma'am, could you explain brief?
All right, Delegate of India, out of diplomatic courtesy, let
Um,
the chairperson
a
moderate
lot of
and we'll ask them. Yeah, Russia, go on.
Okay. A lot of country depends on Russia because she gives to us energy and other resources.
Of Canada speak before me because we are with the other delegation here in the
All right. Okay, thank you, Delegate of Russia, for that answer. Basically, Delegate of India, what Russia is trying to say is that they're very, in the Russian Federation's own words, they're a rich country, thus they will be able to manage some way or the other. And hopefully that answers your question. If not, you may please take this up in the chat box. All right, Delegate of DPRK or Delegate of Syrian Arab Republic, who is recognized? I think Syrian Arab Republic. Yes, Delegate of Syrian Arab Republic, please answer. Please ask your question.
Thank you, Chair Board. We would like to state the fact that over 200 cities in Russia are known to exceed pollution limits, and the rate does not decrease, yet it increases every year gradually. And 80% of this pollution comes from the fossil fuel that Russia is using. So we would like Russia to further explain this and the steps they are planning to take to decrease the limit, exceeded pollution limits Russia's cities have.
All right, Russian Federation, I hope the question was clear to you. Syrian Arab Republic, very good question once again. Delegate to Russian Federation, do you wish to answer that?
Can I respond to this question in chat?
That's completely fine, Russian Federation. We appreciate you still taking up questions, and that was a very good speech. Points very well noted. Moving forward, we have the delegation of Moldova. Delegation of Moldova, are you prepared with your speech for 90 seconds?
Yes, yes, of course.
Perfect. You can start at the
Can I
count of
start?
three. Yeah, at the count of three,
Yes.
two, one.
The delegate of Moldova believes that environmentally sound technology are welcome in any country because they bring a good benefit to have environment. We are all familiar with global warming and its risk, so the delegate of Moldova urged to the entire planet to be more responsible in terms of environmental pollution and its consequences. Allowed, the Republic of Moldova is a small country. Carbon emission from the territory negatively influence nature and the health of citizens. In addition to carbon emission, water and environmental pollution with household waste are a warning thing for our country. The delegate believe that if the citizens were more receptive, we could prevent environmental pollution with all these harmful factors. So we urge all people and whole planet so stop polluting nature to be more responsible and protective and to contribute to the creation of a better living environment because we have only one planet that needs to be protected.
All right. Is that it for your speech, Delegate of Moldova? Delegate of Moldova, is that your speech?
Yes.
Perfect. Very well spoken. Would you be willing to entertain some questions from the delegates? Would you be willing to
Yes, of
entertain
course.
some questions? Perfect. So
Yes.
we'll take up three questions for the delegate of Moldova because seeing that they have quite a lot of time left. Um, who hasn't been recognized for a question? All right, we'll take Everybody has been recognized. All right, we'll take United States of America, followed by. Are there any other questions? We would encourage other delegates to also ask questions. Romania, Japan, anybody else? All right, we'll take USA, we'll take Yemen, and we will also consider DPRK. All right, United States of America, you may please ask your question.
All right, thank you. As we know, Moldova is highly vulnerable to climate variability and change, which brings droughts, late spring frosts, hails, floods, and severe storms. What steps is the government taking in order to combat this challenge? That's my question. Thank you.
Good question, Delegate to United States of America. Moldova, how do you wish to answer?
I think the steps the Republic of Moldova needs to um, can I repeat the question, please?
Yes, USA, Moldova, is the chat box visible to you? Is the chat
Yes,
box visible to you? Great. USA, please
yes.
drop your question there if it's possible.
Yeah, I'll drop it there.
Perfect. Good question, Delegate of USA. We'll move on to the next question. Delegate of Yemen, please ask your question.
Thank you, Evie, for the recognition. So, delegate of Moldova, I wanted to ask, like, according to the reports, greenhouse gas emissions in Moldova increased by 53% to 10 million ton CO2 per year between 2000 and 2022. But so, what all steps you have taken to reduce them?
Basically, Delegate of Moldova, Yemen is asking the steps that your country has taken in order to improve the situation. Moldova, is the question clear to you?
Um, can I answer in chat box?
Perfectly fine, Delegate. We'll also hear out the Delegate of DPRK. Then, in that case, Delegate of DPRK, please ask your POI.
Thank you, Anna. Delegate of Moldova, could you please explain how the Moldovan government is coping up with the situation of the energy crisis and the extreme heating issue that is going on in your country? Thank you.
I think the government helps the citizens for energy crisis, and that's all. In today, the price of the energy is very high, and I think this is a big problem from the citizens of the Republic of Moldova.
All right. Thank you so much for answering that question, DPRK. I hope that answers your question well enough. We'll quickly move on to the next speaker. All right, we've taken 6 GSLs now. We'll take Italy, Japan, and UK after the moderated caucus. Now we'll quickly move on to the next moderated caucus for the day. Topic of which, yes,
Excuse
go
me.
on.
The delegate of Yemen wanted to ask something.
Go ahead, Delegate of Yemen.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask that, like, I had asked a question from the delegate of Moldova. So, ma'am, I had to type it in the chat box, or had he
Uh,
answered?
Yeah, I believe you can type it in the chat box just to avoid any sort of confusion so that the delegate of Moldova can read it. And I believe they can answer it if they wish to. All right. It's just diplomatic courtesy to take
Yeah.
up POIs and then It's just procedurally speaking, mostly in MUNs, what happens is that no matter what the question is, how relevant it is, or how irrelevant it is, everybody gets the opportunity to ask it and answer it. But as a diplomat in a committee, you also have the option to resort to saying no comment, or we would not like to answer this question at the moment, or because we're in an online mode, you can always say, delegate, we'll research a bit and we'll get back to you and we'll answer that question using the chat box that is there. All right. Great. This is just for everybody's clarification. I hope, Ansh, that's fine, right? That we're doing it this way. Great. Perfect.
Yes.
Mhm. We'll quickly move on to the next moderated caucus topic. Can the delegate quickly tell me what the next topic for the moderated caucus is? Yes?
Excuse me. Canada isn't presented. Are you moving to the moderated caucus? She has not spoken. Canada.
Is this the
Delegate
delegate
of
of Canada?
Yeah.
Delegate of Canada, when we were taking the attendance, you did not answer with present in voting, which is why there's a little bit of confusion. Do you wish to be marked present in the committee now?
Sorry. Yeah, she's present. She's here. I'm the
Perfect.
teacher. Hello. Good
All
morning,
right,
madam.
perfect. Hello.
Thank
Good,
you.
good evening and namaste, ma'am.
Good
All
evening.
right, I'm serving. I'm serving in the capacity of the chairperson of the committee. That's completely fine. We'll get them added to the list as well. The next speeches that will be on a particular topic, we'll quickly let you know the topic, and we would request the delegate of Canada to add their name to this list and give a speech for 60 seconds on the topic that Ansh will be sharing in the chat box. Ansh, can you share the topic for the moderated caucus number 3? It's already present in the chat box. Till then, if there are any doubts of the delegates, you may please ask. Are there any doubts by the delegates? Any doubts? You can raise your hands and ask, unmute and ask if you wish to. Till now, the proceedings are fine. Is everybody having a good time? Is everybody able to debate and deliberate to their heart's content? Great. Perfect. There are a lot of competitive delegates in the committee that I'm taking a very good note of. I really appreciate and encourage your spirit. Keep on asking more and more questions and do not hold yourself back from asking questions that are a little bit difficult. Your co-chair person recently asked a question that was a little bit difficult to answer for any country because they would be in a particular spot. They can't really comment on the policies or the loopholes that exist in a country's policies. However, that is a very good question, and we encourage all delegates to ask and answer such questions, right? So that's there. Great. Ansh, have you dropped the topic for the third moderated caucus in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am, that is done.
Perfect. So, the topic for the third moderated caucus is discussion upon treaties given by UNEP regarding international carbon emissions. Is that clear? We'll be now discussing and moving forward to discussing and deliberating upon the already existing treaties that have been given to us by the UNEP regarding international carbon emissions. Has everybody prepared a speech for 60 seconds on the given topic? Great. Perfect. All right. Saudi Arabia, is that a question or are you saying that you've prepared?
Chair, I'm saying that I've prepared.
Perfect, perfect, great. If there are no doubts, we'll be moving forward. All right, Ansh, can you please moderate this current session and also recognize speakers now?
Yeah, sure. That would work for me.
Perfect, thank you so much, Ansh.
Right.
I'll quickly join back.
Right. Now, delegates for this moderated caucus, I'll be asking one of your delegates to establish this very topic. Any delegate who wants to establish this topic, kindly raise your hand. Right. We'll be asking the delegate of Iran to establish this motion. The delegate of Iran, you can proceed.
Just for clarification, Ansh, because a
Yes.
lot of first timers are present in the committee, procedurally speaking, we've not been asking to sort of establish a moderated caucus or sort of introduce the topic in the committee because they were already shared in the Telegram group on discretion
Right.
of the executive board in order to save time, seeing that this is a committee only for 3.5 hours and only 2 hours today. And if it's okay, you could establish the moderated caucus yourself and we could move on to counter speeches. Also, on discretion of the executive board, we procedurally, it's not okay to have a question after the moderated caucus speech. However, we will be entertaining one question per speaker after every 60-second speech. Clear?
Right. Noted.
Perfect. Thank you. Any
Right.
contentions? Any contentions? Anything that you'd like to change? Perfect.
No, ma'am.
Great. All right. Great, Ansh. Let's move forward then.
Right. I'll be establishing the agenda for the moderated caucus. By the discretion of the co-chair, I will be suspending the formal debate and will be moving into a moderated caucus for a total time of 20 minutes, individual speakers time of 60 seconds on the topic being international treaties, discussing about the treaties given by the UNEP regarding international carbon emissions. Right now, I'll be recognizing speakers for the same. The delegates who wish to speak in the given moderated caucus, kindly raise your virtual hands. Right. Delegate of USA, followed by the delegate of Saudi Arabia, followed by the delegate of Iran. Delegates, after I call out your name, you can put down your hands. That will be completely fine. The delegate of Syria, the delegate of Pakistan, the delegate of DPRK, the delegate of India, delegate of UK, and finally the delegate of Australia. Any other speakers who want to wish to speak on the given topic?
Yeah, excuse me. We also have France and Canada here. They haven't spoken. So if you can add them on the list, they will also contribute to
Yes.
the discussion.
Right, noted,
Yes.
ma'am. France.
So Canada, and if it's possible, add them a little above the other speakers as well. And other than that, I'll just quickly take a few names, Ansh, and see if they can be accommodated in the list as well. Uh, all right. Is Italy in the moderated caucus list?
No, ma'am, it is not.
All right. What about Norway? Delegate of Norway, are they there in the committee?
Yes, I'm here.
Delegate of perfect, Norway. Can you give a speech for 60 seconds on this particular moderated caucus topic?
Not on this topic.
All right. So, delegate of Norway, the problem seems to be that we need at least one speech by a delegate, right? And you've not spoken since yesterday, and we'd love to hear what you have to say on the given agenda. So, if it's possible, please get your name added. If not, Ansh, please take note and add them to the next moderated caucus as soon as possible. All right?
Noted, noted.
I'm sorry, can the delegate of Italy also be added to the next
Perfectly
topic
fine.
for?
All right. Italy also in the next list then. Um,
Done.
Denmark and Belarus. Delegate of Denmark and Belarus, are you there in the committee today?
I'm there and I would like to speak out on the next topic.
Oh, all right. And what about Belarus?
I'm ready to speak the different topic, the next topic.
All right. Okay. Ansh, I hope you're taking note of this. So, Belarus, Denmark, Italy, all of these countries wish to speak in the next moderated caucus and not in this one. All right. Delegate of Korea, have you gotten recognized for this moderated caucus? Do you wish to speak in this moderated caucus? Delegate of Korea?
The delegate of DPRK has been recognized in case you're mentioning North Korea.
No, no, no. No. I'm mentioning South Korea. Delegate of South Korea. DPRK I know has been recognized. A delegate of Korea, do you wish to be added to the list of this particular moderated caucus? The topic is present in the chat box.
No, but I was asking for the GSL1.
Oh, the GSL?
Yes.
Let me just check if the GSL. Just give me a second. Ansh, you can continue. I'll coordinate with you regarding Korea's GSL later.
Right, ma'am. Right. Proceeding on, we'll have the speech for the delegate of United States of America first. Delegate of the United States of America.
Yes, shall I start?
Yes.
All right. The delegate of the USA feels that the Paris Agreement, which works on a 5-year cycle of increasingly ambitious climate action carried out by the countries, is truly the way forward. If, as a world, we want to rectify our mistakes and compensate for the misdoings of people, taking part in the Paris Agreement is a crucial step to transform the future of our planet. Countries communicate actions they will take to reduce their carbon emissions in order to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. Countries also communicate through the actions they will take to build resilience to adapt to the impacts of rising temperatures. Unfortunately, the US government exited the Paris Agreement in 2021, but the current president, Joe Biden, signed an executive order for the US to rejoin the Paris Agreement. Thank you.
Right. The delegate, you are left with 8 seconds. We'll be taking 2 POIs in that case, one compulsory and one for the time you have left. The delegates who want to ask questions to the delegate of the United States of America, please raise your hands. Yes, I would be recognizing the delegate of Pakistan and the delegate of Syrian Arab Republic. Delegate of Pakistan, you can ask a question. All right, yes, we were down the
I'm
line.
sorry,
So,
I accidentally raised the hand. I do not have any question.
right. Delegate of Iran, then. Please ask a question.
May I ask the question now?
I'm so sorry, can you repeat, please?
May I ask my question now?
Yes, sir, you can. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask the delegate of the USA that they don't have exactly the most stable history in the history of the Paris Agreement. So I wanted to ask if any measures can be taken if they are unstable like this, and if they will once again leave the Paris Agreement if the Republican Party wins the elections. That was my
Delegate of USA,
question.
was the question clear? The delegate of the USA. Was that
I
question
couldn't hear the question. Can you please repeat?
right?
Sorry.
Delegate of Iran, you can please repeat the question.
Yes, I wanted to ask if with an approach like this, when you are leaving and rejoining the Paris Agreement, can really good measures be taken with an approach like this? That was my question.
That's a very good
Right.
question. So, yeah.
Delegate of USA, have you heard the question properly?
Yes, I have.
Would you like to answer it right here or via chat?
I would like to answer it right now.
Right.
The reason why we left is because of our former president, who was Donald Trump, and as everybody knows, he was not the most enthusiastic about taking drastic actions on climate change, which is the reason he exited the. He talked about exiting the Paris Agreement in 2017 and finally exited in 2021. Though on the first day of our new president, Mr. Joe Biden, it was rejoined, as there are many advantages seen in the Paris Agreement, which are now being acted upon, and so that's the reason why we left. And it was the decision taken by a former president, but not the entire country. So thank you. That's my answer.
Thank you for your answer.
Right. Considering we don't have any more questions for the delegate of USA, we will proceed on to the next speaker, which is the delegate of France.
I'm sorry, I was recognized to ask a question to the United States of America.
Is it the delegate of DPRK speaking or Syrian Arab Republic?
Syrian Arab Republic.
Right, ma'am, you load down and that's why I cut off in. And right, Syrian Arab Republic, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the recognition. As in the slide of the topic, which is discussion upon treaties given by United Nations Environment Program, the Kyoto Protocol is one of the very crucial treaties that were signed in the light of regarding the international carbon emissions. So we would like to ask the United States of America their direct state, since they are not a signatory of the Kyoto Protocol and they didn't ratify. We would like to guarantee that their state is clear against the carbon emissions. So we'd like them to justify and further explain the reason why they're not a signatory of the Kyoto Protocol.
Can you please repeat your last sentence? I couldn't hear it properly.
We would like to ask the United States of America their stance at this issue, since they are not a signatory of the Kyoto Protocol, which is very crucial for the carbon gas emissions.
All right, I wish to answer this question. Now, we have taken a lot of steps, and one of which is the Paris Agreement. And it is not just important for the USA, as the pact provides a pathway for developed nations to assist developing nations in their climate mitigation and adaptation efforts. And it creates a framework for the transparent monitoring, reporting, and ratcheting up of countries' individual and collective climate goals. That's why the Paris Agreement has helped us significantly, and it lowered global projected temperature rise from 7 degrees Celsius, 7 Fahrenheit to 5 Fahrenheit, which is 3.9 degrees Celsius to 2.8 degrees Celsius. That's our stance on your question. Thank you very much.
Right, now that we're done with the questions, the delegate of DPRK, are you having a doubt or what? Can you please?
Yes, Your Honor. It is actually a point of parliamentary inquiry. The delegate of DPRK would like to know whether the delegate would be recognized for a statement on the controversial points brought out by the delegate of USA.
Right, sir. I would just like to know those points via the chat, and will be adhered to the same after the end of this particular moderated caucus.
So before we move on to the session, just a little bit of information to the co-chair and the executive board. So I'll have to leave the session for now to join another session being organized by the organizing committee with regards to the functioning of this particular session today. And I'll be joining this committee session soon. I might just be here in the meeting and listening, but I might not be able to respond. So Ansh, your co-chairperson, will be resorting all your doubts and solving all of them. All right, Ansh, is that clear? Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am, that's completely fine with me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All the best, everybody.
Right, ma'am. Now, as I was saying, the delegate of DPRK, who had to make a statement regarding the very controversial points mentioned by the delegate of the United States. Our delegate of DPRK, I would like to request you to put those topics down in chat, and in case we have time left towards the end, we'll be adhering to the same after this particular mod ends, if that's fine with you. Right, completely fine. And now the delegate of France is next up on the list to give this respective statement.
Yes.
Excuse me, Chair. I believe the delegate of Saudi Arabia has been skipped. I believe the delegate of Saudi Arabia was named after the delegate of the United
Right.
States.
The delegate of Saudi Arabia for the chair had announced that the delegate of France can go a bit earlier. The delegate of Saudi Arabia is now third on the list, if that's fine with you, sir.
Yes, that's perfectly fine. I was just clearing it up. Thank you very much.
Right. The delegate of France, you can continue, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the delegate of France, and the delegate of France feels that the EU countries have agreed to set the EU on the path to becoming the first climate neutral economy and society by 2050. As foreseen by the Paris Agreement, the EU presented its emission reduction strategy, pledging to reduce its emissions by at least 55% by 2030 compared to 1990 levels. The Paris Agreement presents an action plan to limit global warming. The Paris Agreement entered into force on November 4, 2016, with the fulfillment of the condition of ratification by at least 55 countries representing at least 55% of global greenhouse gas emissions. All EU countries have ratified the agreement.
Right, is that it from the delegate of France, I believe?
Yes.
Right. Any questions to the delegate of France shall be entertained. I will be taking one question only. Any delegate who wants, delegate of DPR, do you wish to ask a question from the delegate of France?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, you're recognized. Please go ahead with the question.
Delegate of France, could you please state the steps or the mechanisms that were implemented in your country after the Kyoto Protocol was implemented in within 198 nations, and the Kyoto Protocol had certain mechanisms that were compulsory within the countries. So could the delegate please clarify what was the specific mechanisms that were going on within the delegate's country? Thank you.
Can I answer on the chat box? Please.
Yes, sir, that will be completely fine. Thank you very much. Right, DPR,
Thank
you will
you.
be receiving your answer to the question via chat. Please adhere to that. Next up on the list is the delegate of the Saudi Arabia. Please go ahead, sir, with the speech. And DOC, I would like to switch on the right, please.
Thank you. The delegate of Saudi Arabia would like to thank the chair for recognition. Saudi Arabia's pavilion at the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, held a session discussing natural solutions, which is an essential part of the global response plan to address climate change, according to the official Saudi press agency SPA. The session discussed the natural solutions that can be adopted in the Middle East to address carbon emissions and climate changes, including protecting natural ecosystems and reducing greenhouse gases emissions, and by storing and requesting carbon using several techniques, SPA reported. The techniques discussed by the speakers who took part in the session include the increasing green cover and combating the desertification, as well as discussing methods for sequestering carbon into the soil and restoring wetlands. According to the session speakers, increasing the green cover through immense afforestation is one of the most effective natural techniques to offset carbon emission in the Middle East, which has been adopted by the region, citing the Saudi Green Initiative, which includes planting 10 billion trees in the kingdom in the coming decades. The sessions also discussed by the Saudis Aramco
Right,
initiative
delegate,
to
I
protect,
will ask
plan,
you to wrap
and
up your speech as you have
okay.
exceeded the time limit.
Saudi Aramco's initiative to protect, plan, and restore millions of mangroves inside and outside the kingdom, and their ability to absorb carbon and enhance biodiversity while prioritizing water conservation, treatment, and recycling, SPA reported. Thank you very much.
Right, delegates, points very well noted. The delegate, I will be adhering to one question for the delegate of Saudi Arabia. Delegates who wish to ask the delegate of Saudi Arabia, please raise your hands. Delegate of Iran, you're recognized. Kindly go ahead with the question.
Thank you for the recognition. I wanted to ask the delegate of Saudi Arabia about their oil companies. I heard that one of their oil companies is the largest greenhouse emitter company in the world. What are you planning to do on these? That was my question.
We can't completely stop this oil company. I also can't put my hand on the biggest oil company. But oil is an essential part of our trade and routine. But all these smaller oil companies, we are either shutting them down or they have really high taxes. Because we as a country are trying to have only one main export of oil, because we as a country also need our economy to stay up and high. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for your answer.
Right, delegate of Iran, will you be open to a question from the executive board?
You mean delegate of Saudi Arabia, right?
Yes, delegate of Saudi Arabia.
Yes, the delegate of Saudi Arabia would be open to the board, to the question
Right.
by the board.
The delegate of Saudi Arabia, very well mentioned by you. To answer the delegate of Iran, you exactly stated that for oil is a major sector of import and export for your country. You said we cannot put hands on the bigger companies, but we are trying to shut down smaller companies and enterprises. Right. I hope that is correct, as I heard. Now I would
Yes, that
like
is
to
indeed
ask
correct.
you, this at extent can really solve the problem of CO2 emissions, but wouldn't that contribute to more issues like unemployment and reduced economic power for the lower sections of society? Please answer the question.
For the lower parts of society, the Saudi Arabia is offering lots of different plans which are keeping our economy green as well as helping the economy and the earth. One of those are, you have, for example, the people who are poor, for example, the old oil workers whose companies were trying to finish. We have multiple plans for them. Sorry. We have multiple plans for them, including we have free training for the police force if you're in a difficult situation. With that, you can become a cleaner. You can trade something else. You can get permission from our government to give you a bit of funding to start off your trading. I hope that answers your
Right.
question.
Points noted, delegate. Next up in the list is the delegate of Iran.
Yes, thank you
The
for the recognition, Shay. Delegate of Iran is ready. Some of the
please
most
continue.
important agreements on preventing climate change and reducing carbon emissions are the 2005 Kyoto Protocol and 2015 Paris Agreement, as everyone knows. The Islamic Republic of Iran has signed both of these agreements. However, we have received blame from several countries for not being able to ratify all of them. The delegate would like to point out in this conference that the reason the Islamic Republic of Iran is incapable of fulfilling some of the obligations of the agreements is it is not because of our state's unwillingness to act, but it's because of the unlawful sanctions that were imposed on us, especially the maximum pressure campaign by the United States of America. Our commitments are tied to international help and technology transfer by other countries. And if the illegitimate sanctions against Iran continue, it will tie our hands even more. We ask for international cooperation and the lift of sanctions so we can improve the green industry in our country. Thank you.
Right, delegate's point really well noted. I would like to ask the delegate in case he accepts to the questions. I would recognizing one question from the
Yes, I
delegate of
accept
Iran.
questions.
Right. I would recognize the delegate of the United Kingdom. Or delegate of the United Kingdom, please proceed with the question.
You, Anna. So my question is that Iran has signature to Paris Agreement and Kyoto Protocol as well, but didn't ratificate both of them. So what does Iran wants to do with this?
May I answer now? Yeah, I will answer. Actually,
Yes,
on
you can
us,
answer, Iran.
yeah, the sanctions that are imposed on us make us unable to act for the agreement because we can't get the international support and technology support that we want. Was it clear?
Yes, but the delegate of the United Kingdom would want to know.
I'm so sorry,
what
delegate. I will not be entertaining any plea to follow-ups for this question. I think the question has been answered well. That's fine with you. Right. The delegate of Canada.
Yes, I'm present.
Ma'am, do you wish to give a statement on this very topic?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have the floor for the next one. Please go ahead.
Okay. Can I start it?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. The delegate of Canada thinks that the conclusion of the UNEP 2013 report are not encouraging. Emissions in 20, even if all countries deliver on their promises, greenhouse gas emissions in 2020 are likely to be above the level that would lead to a change of staying on the low path within 2 degrees Celsius of average global temperature rise. Thank you.
Right, delegates. Now that we are done with Canada, right, I'll be entertaining one question and then I will have an announcement to make. Right. Any questions to the delegate of Canada, please? Right. The delegate of United Kingdom, you recognize. Please go ahead with the question, sir.
The delegates of the United Kingdom would like to know why did Canada withdrew from the Kyoto Protocol with effective on December 2012?
Because the Kyoto Protocol did not include development countries and the
Right.
USA.
Right. Thank you for the answer. Well structured answer, even if it was one statement itself. A good answer. Right.
Okay.
Uh, right. Delegates, I just want to mention one thing before we proceed. Firstly, from the verbatim that have been noted of your respective speeches, I have found out that only a couple of delegates out of the first 5 or 6 have mentioned what the actual real loopholes are in the agreements they have mentioned and why has defended their country really well, right? But the others have just given regular speeches of what their country is doing, which is not at all relevant to the topic we are having, right? So it's I will give you a 5-minute break from now. I'll give you a 5-minute break to modify your speeches. And in case you want to give more points to the delegates that are done with the speeches, you can post it in the chat. And I would request the next delegates to please modify their points a little bit in case they are repetitive and do not adhere to the given topic. I hope that's fine. Delegate, I'll be receiving a response for the same. I'll be expecting a response for the same from the committee. It is fine that we are having a 5 to 7 minute break right now. Is it fine with all?
Sorry, B.
Right. We'll be moving on to the break then. So you have to 5 to 7 minutes, delegates. Right.
Yes, EB. Ansh,
Yes, we are on a 5-minute break.
Okay,
that we
till
have
when?
5 to 7 minutes.
All right, perfect. Great.
perceive three treaties as the most important, significant, and crucial treaties the UNEP has given. The first one would be the Framework Convention on Climate Change that was adopted in 1992. The second one being the Kyoto Protocol adopted in 1997, and the third one being, of course, Paris Agreement in 2015. As the Syrian Arab Republic, we have done our best to take part in these treaties sooner or later and ratify them in order to improve our country's environment and renewable energy. Our country is facing really hard times in these days, and although the procedure of advancing in renewable energy has come to on hold for some time, we are prepared to take further steps as soon as the conflict in our country is settled. With that being said, we would like to state that in light of these three crucial treaties, the UN Environmental Programme is highly functional, and the goals of limiting global warming via these agreements are very crucial to us all. Thank you.
Right, now I'll be entertaining two questions for the delegate of Syrian Arab Republic. The delegates who wish to ask questions, please raise your hand. All right, the delegate of Pakistan, you are recognized. Please go ahead with the question.
Now, I want to raise the point of parliamentary.
After the question, delegate, will that be fine with you?
Yes.
Right. Delegate of DPRK, you are recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. Delegate of Syrian Arab Republic, you have stated that your country is in a conflict situation, but the Kyoto Protocol has been going on for a while and ended in 2020. Could the delegate please state what the country has achieved so far when the Kyoto Protocol was still going on? Thank you.
May I answer?
Yes, delegate, you can answer, please.
As DPRK has stated that the Kyoto Protocol has been going on for some time, but the conflict in our country is far more recent. In the light of the Kyoto Protocol, we have exceeded the usage of renewable energy as possible as we can in the state of our country, and as a three-tier country, we have done our best to stop the peaking of greenhouse gas emissions. This agreement is also known to be committing industrialized nations to reduce their greenhouse gas emission. So the incentives and taken initiatives are still going on, yet have come to a halt. I hope that answers the question.
Right, delegate, question answered very well. Now, next we are having the delegate of Pakistan. Ma'am or sir, please proceed with the speech. You have the floor for the next minute.
Thank you, Chair. UNEP has united more than 450 financial institutions in a global campaign to fund the transition to a greener, more sustainable world. UNEP is helping implement the Paris Agreement by supporting countries in developing national plans to cut greenhouse gas emissions and promoting new finance models to accelerate the transition to a green economy. Moreover, the UNEP established a climate node that visualized the global state of the climate emergency and its development, which embodies developed nations must step to make rapid and large-scale emission reduction and support developing countries as to build low-carbon economies and make adequate climate adaptation. UNEP also forged an agreement among its member countries to freeze the production of chlorofluorocarbons at 1986 levels. Thank you.
Right, delegates, you'll be having 30 seconds left in your speech. So I'll be adhering to 3 POIs if there are any. Delegates who wish to ask the delegate of Pakistan questions, please proceed. I can. Are you sure, delegates, you don't want to ask the delegate of Pakistan any questions? Right, DPRK. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Delegate of Pakistan, my question to you is just as same as the one I asked the Syrian Arab Republic. Delegate, could you please state what your country has achieved so far when the Kyoto Protocol has been implemented and it came to cease to exist in 2020? Could the delegate please state what your country has achieved so far? Thank you.
Yes, I would like to answer your question. Actually, when all the serious, severe, and environmental issues have been faced by our country, we have paid serious attention to addressing growing environmental challenges in recent times. And there have been several policies and public sector initiatives have they have taken effect, and several acts have been promulgated. There was a strengthening of environmental protection agencies at federal and provincial levels. There was a setting up of environmental laboratories, environmental courts, and there was also an establishment of national environment quality standards, and they were all significant for the effects and the causes, the pollution, and whatever was happening that were causing environmental issues globally. So this was the agenda of our country that worked for the sustainability of the environment.
Right. A question has been answered, I believe, TPRK. Now I will be recognizing two more. Delegate of India, followed by the delegate of Romania. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the
Delegate of
recognition,
India,
EB.
followed by Romania. Yes. Yes, sir. You can
Thank
go
you
ahead.
for the recognition. I'd like to ask to the delegate of Pakistan that after the Paris Agreement was introduced to Pakistan, what has Pakistan done, and what will Pakistan do in the future for the environment?
Yeah, that was a nice question regarding Paris Agreement. So, the Paris Agreement concluded about the carbon emissions and the greenhouse gas emissions. So we have worked on to the renewable resources, as per spacing out the coal, and working cost efficiently for such issues. So I guess, and in upcoming years we'll be working on to more on with the renewable resources and cost efficiently sources that would implement and benefit a lot to the environmental issues globally.
Right. Now I would request delegate of Romania to ask his question.
Yes, I would like to ask the delegate of Pakistan. In 2019, in the top of the most polluted countries worldwide, Pakistan was in the fourth place. So I wanted to ask the delegate, what is Pakistan doing to respect these treaties and resolve this problem and decrease the pollution level?
um, I'll answer your question very precisely as I answered before. uh, there was a establishment of such agencies. I also talked about them when the delegate of DPRK asked me. This was the same question asked by her, and it was there was establishment of several policies and public sector initiatives, EPAs, and WCAs, and they were all very significant on working for the environmental issues. And we also worked on the renewable resources and cost efficiently products.
Right. Thank you so much for the answer, ma'am. Next in the list, we'll be having the delegate of Canada. Delegate of Canada, are you present in the committee? Delegate of Canada. Right, I will keep the speech for delegate of Canada on hold right now. Now followed is delegate of India. Please proceed. You have the floor for the next minute.
Thank you for the recognition, EB. The delegate of India would like to elaborate upon Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement provides a durable framework guiding the global effort for decades to come. It marks the beginning of a shift towards a net zero emissions world. Implementation of the agreement is also essential for the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. The Paris Agreement is a legally binding international treaty on a climate change. It was adopted by 196 parties at COP21 in Paris. on 12 December 2015 and entered into force on 4th November 2016. The Paris Agreement limit won't protect all countries and locations from the strong negative impacts of climate change, but its goal is to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to the pre-industrial levels. To achieve this long-term temperature goal, countries aim to reach global peaking of greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible to achieve a climate neutral world by mid-century. Thank you.
Right. I'll be entertaining questions to the delegate of India. Right. We'll be recognizing the delegate of Pakistan, followed by the delegate of the United States of America, followed by the delegate of Iran. I'm so sorry, delegate of DPRK. I will not recognize you for this question, for you have had ample chances. And I would also have to maintain to give the chances to other delegates as well. I hope that's fine now. Right. The delegate of Pakistan, you can go ahead with the question, please.
So, as the committee is emphasizing on the globally environmental issues, but the moderate caucus consists of carbon emissions, I would like to ask the delegate of India, what has their country done regarding the million tons of CO2? For instance, there have been in the latest 2 years, 2,654 million tons of CO2 have been emissions from the country, and it is on the third toppest list of the most carbon emission countries. So, what has the country done for that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. First of all, India is the second largest populated state in the whole world. So, to justify this, carbon emissions would be high, but still India is developing. As you know, India is a developing country, and India has already improved a lot. India's annual per capita carbon footprint is about 2.4 tons compared to the world average of 4 tons per year. So, yeah.
Right, points very well noted, delegate of India. Now, next upon the list is the delegate of USA. Please proceed to ask a question.
All right. As you very well know, the world's largest, biggest emitter is India, and it has committed to reduce the emissions intensity of its gross domestic product to 45% below 2005 levels by 2030. Now, India has taken this action, but what are the steps that it's taken currently that are currently being taken actively to secure this position which India has thought of contributing to in 2030? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Right. Before the delegate of India, I'm so sorry, delegate, for interrupting. Firstly, delegate of USA, I would like to request you to clear upon your facts of India being the largest emitter. As far as my knowledge goes, it's the People's Republic of China that tops the list, followed by the United States of America, followed by the Republic of India. I'd like to check upon that, please. And yes, delegate of India, you can answer the question, please.
Yeah, thank you for the question, ma'am. So currently, the latest, like on 22nd of October, Honorable Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, launched Mission Life movement at the Statue of Unity in Gujarat, which is expected to be an India-led global mass movement that will nudge individual and collective action to protect and preserve the environment. Yeah, and India has already, India's renewable energy capacity has already increased by about 290% in the last 7 to 8 years. And still it is increasing. And we are ranked fourth in wind energy and fifth in solar energy. Thanks.
Right, delegate, I would like you to repeat the second last point of your answer for the sake of verbatim.
Yeah, sure. India's renewable energy capacity has increased by about 290% in the last 7 to 8 years.
Right, delegate. Thank you very much for the repetition. Delegate of Iran is next upon the list.
Thank you. So what I wanted to ask was, as a delegate of India probably knows, there has been dangerous levels of carbon dioxide or dangerous gases in New Delhi that they had to take extreme measures and even close primary schools. Why has this happened despite all the measures that were taken to combat dangerous gases and carbon dioxide? That was what I wanted to know.
Thank you for the question, sir. So as you know, India is still uh, a developing country, and India has taken all the measures possible to uh, reduce the carbon level. And you see, now India's carbon level has been decreasing slowly, but gradually it would be settled. And India has been taking many steps like the reduction of water pollution, soil pollution, and India has also provided steps like waste characterization and sampling, hazardous waste management, and etc.
Right, delegate. A very relevant question and a very well structured answer. Now we'll be going on to the next speaker, that is the delegate of DPRK. Ma'am, you have the floor for the next minute. Please proceed.
Sorry, Evie, for interrupting. Actually, I also wanted to ask a question from the delegate of India.
Right, delegate. You can go ahead. Please do.
So, delegate of India, I want to ask that according to the reports, CO2 emissions per capita for India was 1.9 tons of and over last 50 years CO2 emission per capita of India was grew substantially from 0.39 to 1.9 tons of CO2. So could you please justify this?
Sir,
Right.
first of
So
all,
sorry, but there's of inaccuracy in the way
yes,
of
sir,
asking
I
question,
wanted
delegate.
to ask the same thing.
Sir, as far as the question is concerned, it is not really a question. It is a statistic that is being given by the delegate of Yemen that you misquoted in your very speech, as I have taken out the verbatim. So, delegate of Yemen, do remember that this is a correction that you are making in the delegate speech, and it's categorized at what we call as is a point of order, right? That is used for treating the factual inaccuracies in case a delegate has made any, right? Delegate, we don't need to answer the questions. The point has been noted. Delegate Femin, we'll be wanting a relative site that you have considered for this point of order.
Yes, sir.
Please
Even
drop the
I
link down in
wanted
the
to
chat.
know this.
Right, works. Delegate Femin, we'll be expecting a link soon. Delegate Yemen, if you're saying something, you're
So
muted, sir.
where should I send the link?
Sir, in the chat box, that would be fine. Right. Now the next speaker is the delegate of United Kingdom. Delegate of United Kingdom.
Yes, yes, I'm here. I just had some technical problems. So, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is a member of many global organizations fighting climate change, such as the UNFCCC Framework Convention on Climate Change since 1992, the Kyoto Protocol since 1997, the Paris Agreements, and the Vienna Convention for the Protection of the Ozone Layer since 1995, and many more. The United Kingdom has signed and ratified all of them. The delegate of the United Kingdom feels that one of the most important treaties is the Paris Agreement, which can really help not only the United Kingdom but also the whole world. The United Kingdom had even hosted many conferences about climate change on its lands. All these treaties having one shared goal to save the planet Earth from the environmental threats of mankind's existence. The United Kingdom supports all these treaties since it is a member of all of them. Even after many crises like Brexit, COVID pandemics, Ukrainian war, and many more economical problems, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland continues to try and achieve the goal of a sustainable society. The delegate of the United Kingdom recommends other countries to take
Delegate, I would like you to wrap up,
that
please.
example.
Delegate, you can wrap with this last statement that you're continuing. Thank you very much.
I've already done the speaking.
Right, delegates. Thank you very much. I'll be adhering to two questions, or rather one question to the delegate. Delegate of Iran. Please go ahead with the question, sir.
My question is not exactly about carbon emissions, but it is about environment. Is the problem, or can I ask my question?
You can go ahead with the question, sir.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about the loss of biodiversity in Britain. As far as I know, many of the bird species or in a general animal species are in danger. What is the government of Great Britain planning to do against this?
Well, the United Kingdom of Great Britain wants to fight this by making some parks for these species and also to try and make some places for them to live to be protected by the state because the United Kingdom is aware of this problem very well and it's not easy to protect them since we need to keep them free. But we are willing to change that and we are willing to set some places for them where people would not be able to live to not affect these species.
Right, delegate. Question noted. Now, next to the list is the delegate of Australia. So, ma'am, please go ahead with the speech and the floor for the next minute.
Yes, yes, thank you. May I begin my speech now?
Yes, ma'am, please begin your speech.
Perfect. Climate change means dramatic changes over one human lifetime. Many of us want an overview of how each of our country is doing in reducing carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions. Australia is the world's 14th highest emitter, contributing just over 1% of global emissions. The Australian government has introduced the Climate Change Bill 2022. The bill legislates the nation's commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 43% below 2005 levels by 2030 and net zero by 2050. The bill will also require Commonwealth agencies and seems to aim the target into their objective and functions. In conjunction with the Climate Change Bill, the Climate Change Bill 2022 is also included to facilitate these provisions. The main agency include Australian Renewable Energy Agency, or to be called RENA. It's basically a renewable energy project, and it's contains HEL thermal storage feasibility study, Shell Energy Smart Energy Hubs, and use renewable hydrogen to ammonia. Overall, is to connect investment, knowledge, and people to deliver energy innovation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Right, we'll be taking one question for the same. Delegate of Korea, you're recognized. Please go ahead, sir, ma'am.
Okay, may I ask?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, you said that Australia is the world 14th highest emitter. Decide on that. Why they do in their country itself? Is there anything they do internationally, like make a cooperation with other country? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So from what are you saying is that are we contribute at an international state? Australia is playing its part in the global challenge to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. One of them is Paris Agreement. Australia is party to the Paris Agreement. We are working closely with international partners to advance practical action on climate change and build new clean energy industry. Partnerships are in place with the United States, Japan, India, and etc. Other than that, Australia has become a founding member of the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership, a new international group to accelerate the contribution of forests to global climate action. Australia is already contributing to global action to reduce emissions from forestry activities as a founding member of the Global Forest Observation Initiative. Australia also supports countries in our region to enhance their natural resource management, conservation, and protection. Well, this companionship was a new one, so we can't see the effect yet, but we will expect a great impact from us from now. I hope that will answer the question.
Right, answered very well, delegate.
Excuse me,
Right,
sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Point of personal
delegate of
privilege. India.
delegate of. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I wanted to bring to your notice that the delegate of India has sent a substantive check to you. Uh,
So so this
Delegate,
committee
we're
is
not
not currently
entertaining.
yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly my point. We're not entertaining checks at the moment.
Mm.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
it's fine.
It's okay, Delegate of
Right.
India. Yeah, you've put most of your matter forward in the form of speeches. If there's still something left, you can just send it in the chat box. Nobody's getting marked for chits anyway. If it's something completely additional and necessary, only then that is no. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Right. I guess then we are done with the speakers. Right.
Excuse me, sir.
Now
Sir,
2 points are yes.
I'm delegate of Yemen. I also wanted to ask a question from the delegate of Australia.
Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you, EB, for the recognition. Um, Delegate of Australia, I wanted to ask that what all steps have you taken to reduce the pollution and clean your air till date?
Okay, thank you for the question. So the Australian government tracks the nation's greenhouse gases emissions through the National Greenhouse Gas Inventory. According to the December 2020 update, Australia emitted 499 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent as 5% decrease on 2019. We're excited by the chance and opportunity that this target presents, and we look forward to playing an important role in helping Australia to achieve our medium and long-term emission reduction goals. However, in the decade of 2020, Australia increased its forest area by 4.4 million hectares, the second largest increase for any nation in that period. And I think that's such a big achievement for us. I hope that's answered your question.
Right, delegate. Thank you very much for the question. Now that we're done with the speeches, there were two things that I wanted to take up after the moderated caucus ends. Firstly, it was a statement by the delegate of Democratic Republic of Congo on some controversial statements made by the delegate of USA. Devanshi, if that would be fine if I take that topic right now, because we'll be ending the committee in 13 minutes.
All right. What was the statement?
Delegate of DPRK, I would like you to quote the statement mentioned by the delegate of the United States of America.
I think
Can
I
you
was president at that time. Yeah. Go on.
Your Honor, like, first of all, point of parliamentary inquiry, I was also recognized for a speech in the moderated caucus. But it's all right. I'll go with the statement.
All right.
Okay. So first of all, delegates of the House, the delegate of USA specifically stated in her speech that she is very happy with the actions taken in the Paris agreement of climate change. But at the same time, delegates, we have to realize the fact that the delegate of USA is not a part of the Paris Peace Agreement. And when And to consider it in the first place, the delegate of USA left the Paris Peace Agreement of Climate Change even before it started in November of 2020. Oh no, sorry, even before it started. So, and then they have the delegate stated that the delegates country has decided to join back into the Paris Peace Agreement of Climate Change, but they still haven't they are the delegates country is not officially still not officially in the Paris Agreement of Climate Change. So how can the delegate the what I wanted to clarify to this council is that the delegate is not eligible to state in the council that Paris Peace Agreement can cause this and that, and this it can impact on this and that, and like it can cause this, and like it's not right to be stated when the country USA is not officially in the Paris Peace Agreement of Climate Change. Thank you.
Right, delegate. Firstly, this wasn't really a controversial statement in nature. A right to reply like you exercised here can only be exercised in case a delegate's country has something that has heard the sentiments of your country and a
Yeah.
representative for the same. Now, would like to clarify one thing for you. The delegate of USA, as far as the verbatim is concerned, never mentioned that under the new government of Joe Biden, they had enrolled under the Paris Agreement. They had really signed an executive notice for the same, and therefore are not officially part of the Paris Agreement. I hope that clears all the doubts. PPRK. Right, delegate.
Okay,
And
Yona, thank
in
you.
for we are having time, if you, because I did not see your hand, in case you want to speak for the moderated caucus, you're very welcome to do so, ma'am.
I believe DPRK, if you wish to speak, you can still give your speech right now since seeing that there is still some time left.
Okay, Yona, shall I start my speech now?
Yes, after which we'll suspend the committee soon, Ansh, if that's fine.
Right, ma'am.
Okay.
Perfect.
Uh,
DPRK, go ahead.
so okay, thank you. Delegates, looking at the topic, we all can see two major treaties related to the carbon emission. One is the Kyoto Protocol, and the other being the very recent Paris Agreement on Climate Change. Despite the international isolation policies of North Korea, we still agree to both the treaties as we wanted to address a nation and concerning world concerning issues. While nations like United States of America have withdrawn from the Paris Agreement for climate change, it clearly shows their egotism in this matter. DPRK would like to specifically highlight the Kyoto Protocol with regards to how it was carried out. Though it mainly focused on the developed countries, it did have its own ways to bring the developing nations into the matter and help developing countries with financial aid that is needed. Since the Kyoto Protocol came into end in 2020, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change is the only working treaty now. Thus, I would like to encourage all the nations who are present here today and all the willing and able nations to look into establishment of a new treaty that can specifically focus on carbon emission itself. Also, North Korea would like to propose a few solutions to solve this issue of carbon emission is by solving the energy issues within the country itself. Though renewable energy sources is this method can be applied in the carbon emission issue that can be solved up to even a certain extent. Thank you.
All right, we'll also be entertaining two questions or one question if it's possible. Let's go with one question at the moment. Delegates wishing to ask the delegate of DPRK a question, please raise your hands.
I'm so sorry, Chair. In case the co-chair wants to ask a question of the delegate of DPRK, will that be fine?
Yes, that'll be completely fine, Ansh. Is that fine with the delegate of DPRK?
Yes, Yon, I'm completely fine with that.
Perfect. Let's take a question by the delegate and then Ansh, you can ask your question if that's all right.
Sure, ma'am.
Great. We'll recognize the delegate of Pakistan. No, we'll recognize the delegate of Australia. I'm so sorry, Pakistan. We'll recognize the delegate of Australia and then Ansh, you can ask your question. Right. Delegate of Australia, what's your question? Delegate of Australia, am I
I'm
visible and
sorry, ma'am.
audible to you?
I accidentally raise my hand. I don't have any questions.
Completely all right. In that case, we recognize the delegate of Pakistan. Delegate of Pakistan, you may ask your question.
Thank you. I wanted to ask that the main cause of the air pollution in North Korea is burning coals, and it is not environmentally friendly. So, what are the measures the North Korea has taken?
Your Honor, permission to answer the question.
Yeah.
Your Honor, shall I go on with the answer?
Yes, delegate.
Okay. Delegate of Pakistan, first of all, you have to realize the fact that North Korea has moved on to hydropower recently, and 53% of the domestic electricity that is produced within the country itself is produced by hydropower itself, just by hydropower, and only 23% of the country's electricity is generated by fuel. And I get the fact that the delegate stated that we are generating electricity energy by fuel. But that was in the past, and after a few laws that we adopted in 2020, we have been mainly focusing on renewable energy sources such as wind energy and hydropower itself. Thank you.
Ma'am, may the delegate of India also ask a question?
Um, all right. Okay, Delegate of India.
I've been
Yes.
having audio issues. Can you please tell me which topic is happening currently in the moderated caucus?
Delegate, we're discussing the moderated caucus, and this is the last speech, after which we'll be suspending the session, right? We'll quickly take a question by the Delegate of India, after which the co-chair can ask a question as
Can I
well.
please say my speech? Last speech. It's this is our fourth moderated caucus, right? Sorry, I've been having audio problems and I can't keep track of everything.
All right, Ansh, can you confirm if the delegate can also? I believe, Delegate, we
Ma'am,
don't
I
have
believe
time. We have to
the
suspend the
delegate
committee
has
at
already
5:30.
spoken. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, but the delegate has already spoken on the respective topic, and we're on the same topic.
Delegate, I hope there's no confusion now. We have to suspend the committee soon, and you've already spoken on the topic.
Okay, sorry, I was having audio errors
No
and I thought
worries.
another moderated caucus has begun.
No worries, no worries. Delegate of India, you may quickly ask your question. Please keep it short and crisp, after which the co-chair can ask their question, and we can suspend the committee then.
Thank you for the recognition, Evie. So, a very simple question to you is the delegate of Korea. I'd like to ask that you mentioned that you will be introducing a treaty. So, what type of treaty is the delegate looking for, and how is the delegate planning to propose this?
Excuse me, Your Honor, could a delegate please rephrase the question? It seemed to be an internet issue, and I wasn't clear with the question.
Sure. So, delegate, I wanted to ask that you mentioned in your speech that a treaty needs to be introduced. So, what kind of treaty do you wish to propose, and how does the delegate wish to propose this?
Okay.
I'm so
Your
sorry,
Honor,
delegate of
permission to
India.
answer the question.
Right.
Yes, delegate, go ahead.
Delegate, you can
Your
proceed with
Honor,
the
is it
answer.
me who is having internet issues?
No, delegate. In
Okay.
case you can hear me properly, you
Okay.
can answer the question.
Yeah. Delegate, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're completely audible.
There's some issue
Yes,
on
you
my
are, Your
device.
Honor.
Yeah. Delegate, you may answer the question, and every single time somebody asks you a question, you don't need to necessarily ask the executive board if you can, answer the question or not. I hope I'm clear. All right. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
Your Honor. Yes. So the question. Okay. So the question to so the answer to the question that the delegate of India asked me is that the treaty that I am I proposed was to be specifically to be like the treaty was to specifically talk about the carbon emission issues within country, such as the carbon footprint issues, or else in the or it might be the fuel or the energy crisis that is going on within the countries. And as well as the delegate would like to state the fact that though North Korea is proposing this treaty, North Korea is not willing to become the higher leading nation or anything like that. Any nation who is willing and is able to contribute with solutions or contribute to other countries who are currently suffering from the issues of the carbon emission issues, they can contribute, they can put their solutions together, and we can come into, maybe we can prepare a resolution in the end that will help the world. Thank you.
All right, delegate, with the discretion of the executive board, we feel it's a necessity that you know that procedurally speaking, in any conference, whenever you speak of sort of introducing a treaty, so future references, that's like procedurally wrong. Like that's not something that is up to one country or they can just come up with something, right? It's a very elaborate document, and that is left to the body that you're a part of or the committee that you're a part of, right? So if there are solutions that you're proposing, please make sure that they're extremely practical, and also that the solutions that you're proposing are in turn with the mandate of the committee, right? Mandate is nothing but what the committee follows and rules, etc. So in essence, try to be a little correct there, right? There's not a lot of delegates would be able to tell right now that you made a little mistake. That's completely fine. There's no negative marking for it. I mean, understand that while you're learning the process of MUNing, etc., you make mistakes, and that's completely fine. But we also feel that there is a need to inform you that there is a different way to go about it. For example, in a committee like UNCSW, even when it comes to talking about setting up a special rapporteur or building up a separate subcommittee, even that is procedurally a very hectic and long procedure, which has its own nitty-gritties, to say the least. Like very, very small things that like delegates on their own cannot take up or cannot suggest as a plausible solution. Thus, it's advised to come up with very practical and implementable in the longer run. All right? Okay. Ansh, do you
Excuse
still have your
me.
question?
Yes.
I'm
Who's this?
the delegate of human.
Yeah, go on, Delegate to Yemen.
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask a question from the delegate of DPRK.
I'm so sorry, Delegate. We've already entertained enough speakers, and I think Ansh has a question, and we need to suspend the committee in about 4 minutes. So I would even ask Ansh to hurry up. I hope that's fine, Delegate to Yemen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Ansh, go on.
Right. So, ma'am, as far as the history goes, DPRK has made on almost 6 atomic tests near the coast of DPRK as well as near the coast of India. Right now, 6 atomic tests, almost equivalent to a full-scale nuclear war, impacts almost 690 million tons of CO2 in the environment. Now, before questioning a country as significant as USA in this topic, can you please tell your stand on this very agenda for the query question? Delegate of DPRK. I am afraid I'm not able to hear delegate of DPRK, and or we have time
Same.
constraints. I
Not
think
able
it's
to.
little.
Yeah.
We can
All
proceed with
right.
this.
Yeah. I'll just admit the delegate to DPRK. All right. They, I think, went out of the meeting. DPRK, were you able to hear the co-chair's question?
No, Your Honor, I'm really sorry. Like there was a power cut, and I just joined back.
It's completely fine. Co-chair, can you quickly repeat it in a crisp manner? Even if they can't answer, that's a very good question.
Right. Now, for the forum that you're in, it is completely fine for you to question or criticize a country like you did to the United States of America. My question to you is that Korea has almost done 6 atomic tests near its and India's coast, and which is equivalent to a full-scale nuclear war that the history has seen. which has further given out 690 million tons precisely of CO2 in the environment. Please maintain a stand on that, delegate.
Yes, Your Honor. The state of North Korea is currently, we are very well aware about that, and that is just us exercising our power of testing our nuclear weapons and stuff. And we are really sorry for the carbon emission issue that was caused by that. And I don't think that there is something we can do about that. Thank you.
Right. So, all right, we need to end the committee session now and we'll quickly wrap up. So, all right, Delegate of DPRK, do not get intimidated by that question. I hope you understand that in a committee like UNEP, and this is for our co-chair as well, in a committee like UNEP, we try our level best to be solution oriented, which is why I have possibly been like extremely, I mean, wary of criticism or allegations in the committee or entertain POIs that are very allegation based. So I've just been avoiding that in the committee because this is a very environment-led committee and I was looking forward to solutions and a constructive debate more. Regardless, DPRK and United States of America, good job done. But co-chair's question is extremely valid and please take note of certain things that without like, if you try to question another country's stance on a particular topic, you need to really introspect and see what's happening in your own country, you know, while you're representing it. Best way to go forward in this, what I do in a committee personally, I usually sit in UNCSWs and UNEP really less. What I do is I say that the delegate of Mexico very well recognizes the loopholes that exist in the policies that have been formulated by the government or the things that exist in the country. We very well recognize, but we're trying to do so and so. Like always have a sort of research prepared in order to defend yourself in a committee. Now that we're moving forward and we have to join the closing ceremony soon, before we end this, I just have to say that it has been an absolute delight serving as the chairperson of this committee. You guys were really, really, really amazing. And everybody's speech really mattered a lot. And every word that was spoken, genuinely, I wish there were diplomats present in the committee and they could see how passionate young individuals are. Apart from that, I hope I did a good job serving as the chairperson in the committee and the flow of debate was okay and good, right? And yeah, if there are any individual feedbacks needed, you guys can reach out to me personally as well. I am not so sure if we're allowed to share our socials, but I would love to stay connected with you guys on LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn account. I'll share mine in the chat box soon. Ansh, do you have anything else to share with the committee?
No, ma'am. Everything has been quite well wrapped up by you, and I
Yeah.
hope to see you.
And yeah, I really also have to thank Ansh and Tanmay, who's there for the first day. Ansh, thank you for stepping in today. And thank you so much, Anita ma'am and Natasha ma'am, and especially Arpita, our OC member, who's been there throughout. So thank you so much. Now I would request all of the delegates to join the closing ceremony. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. And all the best for the results. You guys have
Ma'am,
done an
sorry to
absolutely amazing
intervene,
job.
but
Yeah.
ma'am, could I request everyone to please switch on their cameras so I can take like a final group photograph?
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody say cheese or something. I don't know. We like try to say paneer here sometimes, which is not so good, but okay. Arpita, just let us know when you're clicking. Otherwise, I'll just stay like this.
Okay, they're done. Thank you so much.
All right, that's my LinkedIn if anybody wants it and wants to stay connected. And yeah, that's about it. I really hope to, I mean, I'm really hoping to see you guys in other conferences that happen online or offline both. And I really look forward to debating with you guys soon in offline mode if possible one day. But amazing job done, everybody. All the best for the results. And it's been an absolute honor serving in the capacity of the chairperson of this committee. All right, have a very good day and join the closing ceremony. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Bye.